Hey guys, it's Davin here at brewbits.com. Now I'm out in a slightly different location than our usual kitchen because we're at a lovely neighbour's farm because I'm after these elderflowers. Oh, have a look, James. This is showing you what we've got behind us. So these are gorgeous moo cows. Anyway, back to me. Right, so we're going to be picking loads of elderflowers. Give them a quick sniff before you pick them and then pop them in your bag. You ideally want to pick them first thing in the morning, if you can, but if you can't, then just get out there and pick them whenever you can. And all we're after is just the little heads like this. James, come on in, have a good look. We're just after the little heads, like so, as little green as possible. There we go, some lovely ones up here. Yes, give them a good sniff. And we're looking, ideally, for about 12 large heads. Now these are quite small, so I'm going to need quite a few more. A large head is about the size of your hand, and as you can see, these are all quite smaller. So keep going until you've got about 12 big hand sizes. I've brought all the elderflowers we picked back to the kitchen, and I've just popped them in a big bowl and given them a little shake every now and then because there's going to be some bugs in there. So I'm going to try and get most of those bugs to drop to the bottom. But what are we going to need to brew up our elderflower cider? Well, I'm going to be using a jumbo country cider kit to make it with. You could use apple juice if you want to, that's up to you. I'm going to use some pectolase because I know from these things that they can create a really hazy finish if you're making a wine. I like my ciders to be clear. If you don't mind your cider being clear or hazy, then you can use or not use pectolase, whichever you so wish. I've got some wine sweetener or sweetener so that we can get this to a slight sweetness so it's not too dry, and that will help the elderflower flavors come through. And then we're going to need something to brew it in, and then something to put it in afterwards. We've got some bottles. I've got some extra bowls, and you'll find out what those are for later. I've got my tin opener to open up the John Bull. I've got a thermometer, a spoon, a pair of scissors, and you'll find out what those are for in a moo, a siphon, and my hydrometer and trial jar. Right, now we've got all that, let's get brewing. Now we're back in my kitchen. I can take the heads, and as you saw, give them a quick shake there, and that gets most of the bugs off. And what you can do is you can use some scissors and snip the ends off, snip the flowers off. You can try using a fork, which I find doesn't really work at all. Or you can get in there and rub them between your fingers, which I think works quite well, quite efficiently. Every now and then you accidentally pull a little bit off. That's not a huge problem. Just try and leave as much as you can of the green stuff because there are poisons in the green stuff. And I've got quite a bit here because I'm going to be making quite a few different things with these elderflowers. But for this, you're only going to need about 40 grams of elderflowers for this kit. In a moment, we're going to need a litre of boiling water, so I'm going to put the kettle on now. One thing I forgot to mention is that you're going to need one of these. This is a straining bag, and to make my life a bit easier, I'm just literally popping it over a jug, open it up, and then the elderflowers go in there, and that's going to make them a lot easier for us to get out at the end. And then pick them up and tie a knot like so. Okay, right, so down here I have got my sterilized bucket and my sterilized spoon. I'm going to drop those in there and quickly pour off a litre of boiling water. Excellent. And then that gets poured in on top of the elderflowers. My next job is to get the jumbo tin open. And the way I do this is with a blunt knife, pop it underneath and then pop it open. Yay, that was nice and easy. So in here we've got just a piece of cardboard, some instructions, but we're not using those because we're going a little bit different than what that should say. We've got a sachet of nutrient and a sachet of cider yeast. Okay, so the next thing, I put that over here. We need this tin opener. And then we pour Oh, the aromas of elderflower, fantastic. Don't get your lens steamed up, James. And then the apple concentrate goes in as well. And then give that a little mix around. Okay, there's still going to be some apple concentrate in there. So with some cold tap water, just give it a swirl around, get your spoon up the sides and give it a good swirl out. The next thing we need to do is top this up with cold tap water. So in it goes into my sink, and I'm only making 20 pints of this. So I'm only going to be topping it up to the 20 pint mark, which will be 11.5 litres or 2.5 gallons with cold tap water. So now we need to mix in the cold tap water with the concentrated apple juice. So give it a really, really good stir in. If you wanted to make this into a 40 pint kit, then I would suggest using the 2 cans of John Bull, or you could use the 1 can of John Bull and a kilo of sugar and top it right up. I think you'd get too thin a cider to do that, and then the elderflower would overpower it. So this is why we're only making it with 1 tin of John Bull. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add the pectinates because we're using flowers. There could be quite a bit of pectin in those flowers. A good teaspoon there. Actually, it's 2.5 gallons, isn't it? So let's do 2 teaspoons. There we go. And that's that gone. And give it another stir. A quick check with the thermometer shows it's coming out about 22 degrees C. So that's lovely. That's going to be a nice temperature for us to add the yeast. I've also taken a sample in my trial jar, and the hydrometer reading is coming out at 1.048. So that's going to give us a potential ABV about 6.5%. Okay, we can sterilize that so that can all go back in. Okay, so the next things, where did James put them? He popped them over here. So I've got the cider yeast and the nutrient. So we're going to open up the nutrient and pop that in and give it a quick stir to mix that around. That's going to make sure that the yeast do their job really efficiently and give them all the nutrients that they need to be able to divide and eat all the sugar that's in that kit. Right, I no longer need my spoon, so that's gone there. So what we're going to do now, cider yeast, which came with the John Bull kit, and sprinkle that in on top. Ta-da! Pop the lid on. If you're using an airlock, then fill your airlock with some sterilizing solution. And then now this goes into my warm place at about 18 to 22 degrees C for the next 7 to 10 days to fully finish fermenting. The elderflower cider has been sat in my warm place now for the last 2 weeks, bubbling away, and it's calmed right down. Come on, James, and have a look at this. You can see the elderflower bag floating on the top. Okay, so I've taken a sample, and with my hydrometer, I've taken the SG, and that's coming out at pretty much smack bang on 1.000. So down in here, we've got a bag of elderflowers. Although it really doesn't look like very much now. I'm just going to give this a little squeeze. Yes, I've cleaned my hands and sterilized my hands, so that's all ready to go. And that's it for all the elderflowers. Right. Okay, let me just quickly spill my hands off. Because down here, I've got a sterilized bucket and my sterilized siphon. That's going to go into the cider. And a quick suck and let it flow. Now back up here a second, James, because down at the bottom of this bucket, there is quite a bit of sediment from the yeast. So just be careful not to disturb that whilst you're siphoning it off. Now that I've siphoned it off, we can have a sneaky little taster. Ooh. The elderflower is about the right amount, nice and fruity. However, like all the John Bull cider kits, they've come out a little bit dry. So if you like your cider a little bit sweeter, then you're going to need to add something to it. So here we're going to be adding some wine sweetener. And so I'm going to be using probably about 25 ml of this to lift the sweetness. You can't add sugar, because if you add sugar, there's still live yeast in this, and all the yeast are going to do is go munch, 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 gobble, 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 and they will turn that sugar to alcohol. Okay, so that's 20 ml in there. I'm going to get my spoon and give it a quick stir, and then we can have another taste and see if we need to add any more sweetener. So another small sample. Oh yes. Oh, that's really helped lift the elderflower as well. So that's taken a lot of the dryness away. It's going to be the right amount for me, but if you want it a little bit sweeter, you can always add some more sweetener. Right, I like my cider to be fizzy because I'm going to be bottling it. And so I'm going to pop in some priming sugar in here. I've got 70 grams of priming sugar, and I'm just going to pop that in. And with my spoon, as always, just give it a quick little stir until it's all dissolved. Now all the sugar's dissolved, I'm going to reuse my siphon, but I don't need the sediment trap on the end, so that comes off. But I do need something to be able to stop the flow, so I've got a sterilized tap, and that goes on the end of the tube. And then I've got this, which is my bucket clip, and that's going to hold that end in the bucket for me, so I don't need to worry about where it's going. Okay, now on this end, over to me, good suck. Okay, stay, don't fall off. There we go. And then fill the bottles up from the side so you don't get any splashing and foaminess until you get to about the bottom of this ring here, and then we can cap them. So there we go. That is the John Bull Country Cider with loads of elderflowers bottled. So all I need to do now is put this in my warm place for another week so the secondary fermentation in the bottles can take place, and that's going to create loads and loads of lovely fizz. Then we're going to put them somewhere nice and cool, so they go into my garage for about the next 2 to 4 weeks. To bottle condition and clear, and then once they're clear they can go in the fridge and you can pop one open and enjoy a lovely glass of elderflower cider. So there we go. As always, if you've got any questions, need any help, then ask the way down in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe to our videos, and we'll get back to you as quickly as we can. Anyway, for now, cheers for watching, happy brewing, and enjoy your elderflower cider.